Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another episode of the Catskull Academy, the series that aims to give you all the information you need to get started in EVE Echoes. Today's Catskull Academy comes at you from inside the public test server for the October-November update, because we're having a look at another one of the upcoming EWAR modules, this time around target painters. So we're going to have a look at what target painters are, how they work, what they do, and why you might want to fit these onto a particular ship. So if you do enjoy this video or find it useful, let me know by hitting a like on it, subscribe to the channel for all things EVE Echoes, ding that notification bell so that you never miss an upload, and of course let me know what topics you want to see covered in future videos by commenting down below. If you do want to go the extra mile to help support this channel, you can do so by joining us over on Patreon. Details are on screen now. That all said and done then, let's talk about target painter modules. Target painters are a new type of mid-slot sub-weapon found under the electronic warfare tab, so let's scroll through these and close down the ones we don't need to talk about today, until eventually we reach the target painters. Now, unlike the other forms of electronic warfare, target painters don't work by harming the enemy ship so much as they do by benefiting all of your friends. What they do here, if we have a look at this Mark III target painter, you can see here about halfway down, signature radius adjustment. If you hit a ship with a target painter, you increase its signature radius. And remember, the larger a ship's signature radius is, the quicker you can lock onto it, the better missiles apply their damage, and the easier it is to get firm, solid hits using cannons and other turret-based weapons. So, looking here at the Mark III target painter stats, obviously meta level is just how powerful this is in relation to other modules, so obviously meta level 1 should be fairly equal to each other. The power grid requirement is of course how much power grid this takes to actually fit onto a ship. You then have an activation cost of 16.1 gigajoules and an activation time of 10 seconds. That means with a target painter active, every 10 seconds it will consume 16.1 gigajoules from your capacitor and then fire it off at the opponent. In this case, it has an optimal range of 24.6 kilometers and an absolutely whopping accuracy fall-off of 61.5 kilometers. That's, if you add your optimal range to your accuracy fall-off to get to that 50% point, that's 86.1 kilometers. Obviously, at the full optimal range here, optimal range is the range within which your target painter is going to be 100% effective. So up to 24.6 kilometers, you're going to increase their signature radius by 23%. If they then move out to the 61.5 kilometers beyond, so 86.1 kilometers away from you in total, then you will be at 50% effectiveness, thus an 11.5% increase to the signature radius. And remember, that is per target painter, and these things do stack. If you've got multiple target painters on your ship, or if you have multiple target painters in your fleet, you can increase the target signature radius by an interestingly large amount. But what happens then as you go from Mark III up through Mark V, Mark VII, and so on? Well, if we have a look here, you'll see that the power grid requirement does, of course, stay the same, as does the activation time. Everything else does steadily creep upwards. The activation cost increases each level. At this point, you can see it's 16.4 rather than 16.1, and the signature radius adjustment has increased from 23% to 25%. The optimal range here has also gone from 24.6 to 25.2, and the accuracy fall-off has increased from 61.5 to 63 kilometers, so we've now gone to a total of 88.2 by the time we hit the halfway point. With the Mark VII, similar kind of situation going on here, higher activation cost at 16.6, better signature radius adjustment at 27, longer optimal range and accuracy fall-off, and that just continues up the ramp here. Once we start hitting the storyline level here, you can see that's a 29% signature radius adjustment for the Meta Level 5 Guide Target Painter, 27 kilometers optimal range, 67.5 on the accuracy fall-off, with the Halley Target Painter being the top level 1 that you can get hold of currently in the game, with a 31% signature radius adjustment, 28.8 kilometer optimal range, 72 kilometer accuracy fall-off. Goodness gracious me, 31% up to 28.8 kilometers, and that drops to 15.5% by the time you hit 100.8. That's insanely long range, but there we go. And an activation cost then of 17.6 gigajoules. So basically you get the activation cost increases minorly, 16.1 up to 17.6, The signature radius increase varies from 23% to 31%. The optimal ranges also range from 24.6 up to 28.8, with an accuracy fall of 61.5, increasing to here at meta level 8, 72 kilometers. So it gives you an idea then of how these things actually scale with meta level. Ultimately, all that really happens is the bigger signature radius and the bigger range. The range itself isn't a huge adjustment. Even the Mark III has an absolutely incredible long range to it, but obviously if you want to min-max, then the higher you go, the better your ranges are going to be. Like most things in EVE Echoes, if you want to be better with target painters, there is a skill for that. If we head into electronics and electronic systems, scroll down past electronic warfare and propulsion jamming, you eventually reach signal jamming. Now I've got this trained up to basic 5. Now, at basic level 5, you can see here, target painter optimal range is increased by 25%. Those already insanely long optimal ranges just got even longer. So if you're sitting there with, what, a 30-kilometer optimal range, you've got an additional 25% on top of that. That just is absolutely insane, and a very, very useful skill to have there, especially if you intend to be hitting people with target painters at somewhat decent ranges. Anything over 30 kilometers, you're going to want to have signal jamming leveled all the way up to basic level 5. Once you get into advanced signal jamming, however, you'll see that the target painter effects here are that the target painter target effects are increased by 25%. That means the signature radius boost that you would normally get for a target painter is 25% better. So if it was going to be, again, say a 20% increase to the signature radius, it would then be a 25% increase to the signature radius. It just basically means that their signature radius boost is even bigger, making them easier to hit, quicker to lock onto, and more damage from both missiles and turrets. Once you finally reach expert signal jamming, however, this then starts to increase the target painter accuracy fall-off. Again, 25% increase to those accuracy fall-offs, and remember, the accuracy fall-off at the Mark III is 61.5, so if you work out what 25% of 61.5 kilometers is, that's an absolutely stonking increase to range, and that's on top of the optimal range that you've already got increased thanks to having signal jamming basic for up to level 5 as well. If you're going to be using target painters, basically this gives them some utterly ludicrous ranges and means that you don't have any drop-off really at all in that the signature radius modifier. And of course, by having this as well, you make those signature radius modifiers even bigger. Just absolutely terrifying. If you have someone who is skilled into signal jamming all the way up to the top here, they're using target painters, they can be sitting well over 100 kilometers away, and they can make your ship, basically they can turn frigates into cruisers, which is, frankly put, disgusting. Now, whilst you can fit target painters onto any ship in EVE Echoes, as long as it's got a mid-slot to fit it in and at least 1 megawatt of power grid available, there are some ships in the Minmatar public ship tree that do get special bonuses to target painters. Starting at tech level 4 in the frigate branch, we have the Vigil. This, of course, is the one that I'm docked in at the start of this video, and it is the one that I'm using for the thumbnail as well. Very unusual looking ship. As far as Minmatar ships go, not one of my favourites, but hey, we're not here for how it looks, we're here for its stats. And being a frigate, I will do a deep dive on this at some point for the Frigate Pilot Manifesto. Let me get a hold of it, get playing around with it a little bit in live, and then that video will be on its way. But looking at its trait descriptions here, you can see that the Vigil gets a bonus to the target painter target effects for each level that you have in signal jamming. This means if, like me, you've got signal jamming leveled up to level 5, then you've kind of got a bonus here as if you've actually got signal jamming all the way up to advanced 5. Because remember, signal jamming 1 through 5 basic is the additional optimal range. Advanced signal jamming 1 to 5 gives you the additional target painter target effects, makes that signature radius booster even bigger. So here you're getting that 25% target painter target effects as part of the ship's bonuses, which means if you've got signal jamming only up to level 5 basic, you've kind of acting as if you've got it all the way up to advanced 5. That said, if you do take it all the way up to advanced 5, you're getting the 25% optimal range for the skill, the 25% target painter target effects for the skill, and an additional 25% target painter target effects thanks to this being on this ship. Now this means that this teeny tiny little frigate turns your ship into an absolutely monstrous target from some quite insane ranges away. Very, very useful in fleet engagements. If there's one particular ship that you just absolutely need to delete as quickly as possible, the Vigil locks onto it, shoots that thing with the target painter, makes it a massive target, and the rest of the fleet just utterly obliterates it. That said, it's not just the frigates. There are some cruisers that help as well. Of course, a lot of you folks have been asking about the Bellicose. This is a cruiser that a lot of you have been asking about, and I've basically said every time I'm not prepared to do a video on it just yet because we don't have the target painters, and it's kind of pointless to talk about a target painter cruiser when you don't have the target painters. Well, now we have the target painters, so let's have a look. The Bellicose itself, it's a cruiser-level ship. Advanced signal jamming bonus gives you an additional 25% target painter target effects, that's 5% a level, and 5% a level target painter optimal range, again up to 25%. That's on top of the skills. So if you have advanced signal jamming all the way up to 5, that means you're getting 25% target painter optimal range from the skill, 25% target painter target effects from the skill, and then an additional 25% optimal range and 25% target effects thanks to the ship. Just, the mind boggles. The mind boggles. This means the Bellicose is going to be a very firm target from the enemy fleet. They see one of these on grid, they are going to try and delete it as quickly as possible to stop it using those target painters. That said, once you hit tech level 7 as well, we then move on to the Bellicose Covert Ops. Awesome looking cruiser, I really like this one. The colour scheme on that just looks absolutely amazing. And this one then gets target painter target effects at plus 7.5% per level for advanced micro warp drive operation. Interesting key point there. This is not getting bonuses from signal jamming, this is getting bonuses from advanced micro warp drive operation. That means if you've been skilling into advanced micro warp drive operation, you don't necessarily need to skill into signal jamming in order to get the most out of this ship. You've already got the warp drive, and this ship does get that bonus there, 10% reduction per level to the micro warp drive signature radius penalty. So when you use a micro warp drive, obviously your signature radius increases by usually about 500%. Here on the Bellicose Covert Ops, if you've got that trained up to level 5, you're actually only going to be getting an adjustment of about 250%. It's still pretty big, but it's not as big as it could be, and it allows you to keep your distance and use that target painter for a 37.5% increase to the target painter target effects. Boy, that is really an easy way to turn a frigate into a battle cruiser. Just, oh man. And if you've got something bigger like a cruiser, it'll turn cruisers into bigger than battleships. You're kind of turning a cruiser into a Titan-sized target, kind of thing that you couldn't miss it if you tried. And there we go, everything that you need to know about getting started with target painters, what they are, what they do, how to use them, and just a quick outline of some of the ships that get some nice little bonuses to them. Again though, you can fit target painters onto any ship, so if you just happen to be running around in something like a Slasher 2, as long as it's got that mid-slot, yes, you can fit a target painter on it and have some fun with that. And I will be playing around with these a bit more as this public test server goes on. Once it all moves into live, yes, again, as I've said, I will do a video purely on the Vigil. It is a frigate, so it's going to get a video in the Frigate Pilot Manifesto, having a look at how to best use those target painters to get some really cool effects out of the ship. But again, that's my thoughts and my opinions as well. Do let me know what your thoughts are, what your opinions are on this particular module, how you think target painters are going to work and help your fleet. If there's something you're excited about, are they something you're a little bit worried about being added to the game? Let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, folks, happy sailing and see you in New Eden.